At exactly 2:17 p.m., 3 civilian ships became the center of a global crisis. No warning, no declaration of war. Just 6 fighter jets screaming out of the sky toward unarmed oil tankers worth $400 million. What Iran believed would be a moment of intimidation became a 29-minute chain reaction that reshaped power in the Persian Gulf. This is the story of how a routine commercial voyage turned into one of the fastest, most devastating military responses in modern naval history. The setting: a normal day that wasn't the Persian Gulf, early afternoon. Clear skies, calm seas, commercial traffic moving as it does every single day. More than 15 million barrels of oil pass through these waters daily. Fuel for economies, power for nations, lifelines for entire regions. Most of that oil moves aboard civilian tankers. No weapons, no defenses, just steel hulls and international law. At 10 a.m., 3 American-flagged oil tankers departed the port of Fujairah in the United Arab Emirates. Pacific Energy, carrying Saudi crude Atlantic Voyager, loaded with UAE oil. Gulf Explorer, transporting Kuwaiti reserves. Each ship carried 2 million barrels. Combined value, $400 million. 300 civilian crew members. Destination, South Korea. Nothing about this voyage was unusual, except one thing. U.S. intelligence already knew something was coming. For weeks, analysts inside U.S. Central Command had tracked increased activity from Iran's Revolutionary Guard and Air Force units along the southern coast. Intercepted communications suggested a plan, not an attack, not a war, but harassment. The goal was intimidation, forcing American-linked commercial shipping to divert into Iranian waters, creating a political incident without firing the first shot. At 11:30 a.m., the USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group received an alert. 3 UC-flagged tankers were entering a sensitive transit zone. Iranian military activity was elevated. Overwatch was requested. The response was immediate. The shadow in the sky, Carrier Strike Group Commander Rear Admiral Rebecca Thompson issued a short, direct order: launch combat air patrol. Maintain coverage. Defensive engagement authorized. Within minutes, A-18 Super Hornets were airborne, circling invisibly beyond the horizon. The tankers continued forward, unaware of how close danger already was. At 1:30 p.m., Iranian coastal radars activated. Multiple tracking systems locked onto the commercial vessels. Then, at 2:10 p.m., 6 aircraft lifted off from an Iranian airbase near the coast. F-4 Phantom II fighters. Old, loud, dangerous in the wrong moment. Their filed flight plan claimed training exercise. Their actual course told a different story. They were heading straight for the tankers. 2:17 p.m. The intercept, the Iranian jets descended rapidly, from 12,000 feet to 500 feet. Afterburners flared. Speed surged past Mach 1. Moments later, the tankers felt it. BOOM. A sonic shockwave slammed into steel decks. Antennas rattled. Windows shook. Another pass. Boom. 6 fighter jets screamed directly overhead, cutting across the bows of civilian ships. On the emergency frequency, a voice broke through. "You are transporting stolen resources. Turn toward Iranian ports immediately for inspection." The tanker captains answered calmly but firmly. "We are in international waters. This is lawful commerce. You have no authority here." The response came instantly. "Then we will force you." 2 jets dropped even lower, 200 feet, charging straight toward a tanker's bridge before pulling up at the last second. Crew members hit emergency alarms. At 2:18 p.m., the Gulf Explorer transmitted a mayday. American oil tanker being harassed by military aircraft. They are attempting to force us into territorial waters. Request immediate assistance. That transmission changed everything. The decision 40 miles away, 8 American fighter pilots heard the call. Inside the command center aboard the carrier, the assessment was brief. This was no longer harassment. This was hostile intent against civilian shipping. At 2:19 p.m., authorization was granted. Weapons free. The American jets accelerated. Afterburners ignited. Speed climbed past Mach 1.4. Within seconds, the Iranian pilots realized they were no longer alone. A calm voice cut through their radios. "This is the United States NAV-Y. You are ordered to disengage immediately and return to base. You have 10 seconds. Silence, then defiance. These vessels are under Iranian authority." The countdown continued. 10, 9, 8. At 3, radar locks were confirmed. At 1, the order came. Engage. 6 jets. 60 seconds. 16 AIM-12 Rio missiles streaked through the sky. Mach 4. Fire and forget. Iranian cockpit alarm screamed. Pilots dumped flares, broke formation, dove for the deck. It didn't matter. The first missile struck a Phantom head-on. The aircraft vanished in a flash. Another exploded mid-turn. Then another. Within seconds, the sky burned. One jet attempted escape full throttle toward the coast. 2 missiles tracked it effortlessly. One destroyed the engine. The second finished the fuselage. The final pilot ejected parachute opening just before impact. At 2:21 p.m., 60 seconds after engagement began, all 6 Iranian fighters were gone. The tankers were untouched. But the response wasn't over. The real consequences before the first missile even hit. A second operation was already underway. Forcing American civilian ships is considered an act of war. The response would ensure it never happened again. At 2:20 p.m., additional aircraft launched from the carrier. Electronic warfare planes followed. Their mission was not defense. It was elimination. Blinding the coast. Electronic attack aircraft activated powerful jammers. Iranian radar screens filled with noise. Targets vanished. Missile systems lost guidance. Then the missiles came. Anti-radiation weapons slammed into radar installations all along the coast. Early warning systems collapsed. Air defenses went dark. Iran's southern airspace was suddenly blind. 6 air bases, 6 targets. Precision glide bombs followed. Released far offshore, they flew autonomously toward their targets. One by one, Iranian air bases were struck. Runways cratered. Hangars collapsed. Aircraft burned where they sat. Fighters never had the chance to launch. Fuel depots erupted in fireballs, visible for miles. Control towers fell. Within minutes, Iran's Southern Air Force infrastructure was crippled. The deep strike. From farther away, long-range bombers launched cruise missiles. These didn't target runways. They targeted support, maintenance centers, fuel refineries, radar factories, training facilities. The goal was simple. Not just stop today's threat. Remove the ability to threaten tomorrow. 29 minutes later at 2:46 p.m., it was over. 6 fighters destroyed in the air. 12 more eliminated on the ground. 6 air bases severely damaged. 18 aircraft lost. Allied losses, 0. The tankers continued sailing on schedule. Within hours, official statements emerged. Iranian media denied everything. Satellite images told the truth. Cratered runways, burned aircraft, collapsed infrastructure. Insurance markets adjusted. Shipping routes remained open. The message was clear. Harassing civilian shipping would no longer be tolerated. Iran sent 6 jets to intimidate tankers. In return, it lost a squadron, its bases, and months, possibly years of capability. The ships sailed on anyway. That is the reality of power in the Persian Gulf. And that is what happened when intimidation met readiness.